What's up, family? It is Caden with Urban Finance, and today we're going to be talking about 10 things that I do not buy anymore, 10 things that I refuse to buy. If you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button and like this video. Alright, so let's jump right into it. I guess after this. Number one. The first thing that I refuse to buy or pay for anymore is cable. There are too many cheaper subscription services out there for me to pay for $200, $300 for cable. So for example, Netflix and Hulu are two subscription services that I have right now, and Crunchyroll is a subscription service for anime lovers like myself that I would get from time to time when I have some extra bandwidth. And even with Netflix and Hulu, I cycle those in and out depending on what show I'm watching, and if I think there are enough good shows on one of the services, I may just hold one of them at a time. So that is the first thing that I refuse to pay for anymore. The second thing that I refuse to pay for anymore, or that I do not buy, is insurances. No, I do have car insurance, but the insurance that you typically get on products that you buy, that you purchase for stores, extended warranties, I do not pay any money for those. What I do is I take the money that I would have paid for those, put that in a separate account, and lo and behold, several years later, since I started doing that, maybe 2 to 3 years ago, I have enough money in those accounts to cover just about anything that I need to replace. For example, the camera or the lighting that I'm using. So I do not pay for extended warranties anymore. Number 3, the third thing that I do not purchase is new cell phones. And I know that iPhone probably come up with a new cell phone just about every year with some additional feature that Android may have already had, but I refuse to pay for a new cell phone. The current cell phone that I had is an iPhone 6, and I've probably had that for about 5 years now, maybe even 6 years. But the only reason I even got that phone was because the guy tricked me. Yes, I felt really gullible. He told me that I can get a free phone, and I thought it was free, but what I found out is that it was free to take home, but I would have to pay for it on my monthly bill. Yeah, I really fell for that. Okay, don't judge me. The third thing that I don't buy anymore, and it's something that I really liked. Oh, talking about like, don't forget to like the video. Okay, so the third thing that I really liked, but I don't buy anymore, are watches. The few watches that I do have, I don't even really wear them anymore, but they were bought by my wife and my mother, respectively. And I really love watches, but I just don't buy them anymore. I use my phone to tell the time, and so there's really very little reason for me to buy a watch. I also don't technically buy jewelry for myself, but I would buy jewelry for my wife, so I'm not going to count that as something that I don't buy anymore. So I will probably buy her something in the future. Love you, honey. The fifth thing that I don't buy, or I refuse to buy, and I've never bought in my entire life, is a new car. And even Warren Buffett says that he cannot afford a new car. And we all know that Warren Buffett can definitely afford a new car. But the opportunity cost that you give up by buying a new car is just not worth it. And so I like to think that I model myself after people like Warren Buffett. And if he cannot afford a new car, I cannot afford a new car. And I'd much rather purchase a car that is 3 to 5 years old, that is not going to drop 20-30% in value from the time that I drive it off the lot. And so that is the fifth thing that I do not buy. The sixth thing that I don't buy is music or music subscription services. From the advent of LimeWire, where people were downloading music for free, breaking copyright laws. No, I don't encourage you to break any copyright laws, because I am a law-abiding citizen. But I just refuse to pay for music anymore, especially with free streaming services like Pandora or YouTube that this video will be posted to later. I refuse to pay for music, and I know most of you out there probably feel the same way. The seventh thing that I refuse to buy anymore is expensive clothes. If you can tell, this, what I have on right now, doesn't have any name brand on it. And that's how I like it. I shop primarily at Marshall's, where I can get my entire outfit for about $20, but I refuse to buy name brand clothes anymore. And don't get me wrong, when I was in high school, I had all the latest Jordans, I had Prada sneakers, I had it all, just like everyone else, I guess, Well, I wouldn't say everyone else necessarily, but a lot of my friends were also into these type of things. But now that I am much older and wiser, I refuse to purchase these things anymore. I have one pair of sneakers that I use for jogging. At any given time, only have one pair of sneakers that the primary purpose is for it is jogging. I remember maybe 2 or 3 years ago when I bought this sneakers that I had, the only reason I upgraded my sneakers is because my wife told me that I couldn't wear my sneakers outside anymore with her because it had a big hole in it. That's how much I don't care for new sneakers. And I think I am on number 8 right now. And so the 8th thing that I do not purchase anymore, and anyone who knows me will say, well, duh, but it's lotto tickets. I know so many people that still play lotto. Yes, I'm talking to you. No, it's not a subliminal, but I'm talking directly to you. You know who you are. Most people won't win playing lotto, and I think honestly most people know that, but I just refuse to buy lotto tickets. It just does not make any sense to me. But I have been given a lotto ticket for winning a prize at work, and I will scratch it off. So that's that. No, not my current job at the church, my old job. And the 9th thing that I do not buy anymore is things that I do not need. And I know everyone probably feels like, oh, I don't buy things that I do not need. And maybe you don't as well. But there are a lot of people that do buy things that they don't need and things that they have in their house that they never use. Maybe you can even think about something that you bought recently or in the last year that you really did not need or did not use. And it is a waste of money. And so what I typically do here is use the 48-hour rule, and some people even do a 7-day rule of saying I'm gonna wait 48 hours or 7 days, and if I still want that thing, then I'll purchase it. I remember I told my wife I wanted one of those shields for my car glass because it gets hot in the summertime sometimes. And she told me, what about the 48-hour rules? And so I waited 48 hours, and about 6 months later, I still don't have the shield. Clearly, it is something that I did not need. And the last and final thing that I do not buy anymore is things that I cannot afford. And I know you may be saying,
well, duh, Caden. Everyone don't buy things that they cannot afford. Well, that's just not true. And I have 13 trillion reasons to tell you why it is not true.
That is the current debt toll that Americans have, Americans consumers have. And so we know that most people do buy things that they cannot afford. Alright, thanks for watching the video. If you haven't already, please hit the like button. I appreciate it, and it will help me to grow this channel. Subscribe to the page if you haven't done that already either. And like I always say, love you and live your best life. But before you go to live your best life, if you have things that you do not buy that I didn't mention, feel free to put it in the comment section below. And if you have any recommendations for future videos, let me know that as well. And one more thing. Yes, I love me some Jackie Chan growing up.
One more thing!
Make sure you hit that like button. Alright, see you next time.